here we are. So another bonus pod, and I'm so sorry that it took me so long to get it to you. It's been hectic. I'm not going to lie. There's been a lot of crying on my end. I think a lot of people are going through some depression moments right now, but I'm so annoyed because I want to be happy. It's like really sunny out. Sometimes the wind is blowing, which, you know, is leading to a lot of fires, and I know that that's terrible, but I want to feel happy, and I'm really fucking annoyed by not being happy or not feeling happy. So, okay, let me just, first of all, okay, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, you guys already know about my, job hunt. You all know that it's been crazy. But yeah, that's been the process, or sorry, the catalyst for most of my crying days, or crying moments, I should say. I'm at a loss, to be honest. I'm truly just at a loss. I don't know what to do. I did not expect this. I thought that Trader Joe's or coffee shops or restaurants or whatever would be itching to have people that have been in the service industry, that are willing to work, that have, you know, great work ethics, that have a great resume, that, you know, really can pull their weight. And that does not seem to be the case, which is so weird. I don't understand where this whole like mentality of like that people don't want to work. I mean, I see it's so weird because it's on both sides. Like, where's the disconnect? So I see employers saying, you know, things like, you know, people don't know how to count change. Interns don't know how to label an envelope, like things like that, which like and to a certain degree, you do kind of get it because it's a whole other world than, you know, like they might never have even needed to do an envelope, or like there's email now. They might not have, you know, ever dealt with change or depositing a check or whatever. But like if you want people that can do that, me, who are applying to these jobs, me, why are there being hired people that don't know how to do that? Why are employers like, oh, they don't know how to work, they don't want to work, when like people like me are over here that want to work and will, you know, honestly, at this point, kind of do a lot of things as far as like, well, let's not go that far. I'm not going to go like do, you know, crazy things. Okay. Sexual things, if you get my drift. But no, I can do a lot of things. I have a lot of skills and I work hard. I mean, and yet I'm still being passed over for these service jobs that people are saying people don't know how to work. Like what? Where is the disconnect? I don't understand it. And so I've applied to wineries, restaurants. I have a couple of interviews on Monday. I have three job interviews on Monday. I had 4 during the course of last week. I'm applying for catering jobs, like, cause I've been a cater waiter before, server, things like that. What is it? And then when I interviewed for a host job, like a daytime host position, not even full time, and I have hosting experience and a work ethic and can show up on time and can get myself to work. I live like across the street, and they wanted to do a second interview and what? And like give me an assessment and things like where is that disconnect? Because now I understand maybe why you guys might need the assessments. The employers are like, oh, they can't even like put, you know, silverware together. Okay, but what about the people who can? What? I am just flabbergasted, and it's so depressing. It's so depressing because it makes me feel like I must not be good enough. You know, I must not have the skills that they're looking for. And I just have to keep reminding myself that I have the skills. I have everything that they're looking for. It's just timing. Is that really all it is now? It's just timing. And I've lowered my rates. Usually I wouldn't apply for jobs that were like, you know, minimum wage or whatever, but I've been applying to minimum wage jobs. I haven't applied to like Taco Bell yet. Maybe I should do that, honestly, because I know some of these fast food restaurants are paying like decently now, and by decently, it's not decent, but it's like, you know, $16 an hour instead of $7. So I'm just like, I'm so confused, and I don't know if I'll understand it ever. It's just like this market is impossible. And so that's kind of what's been going on with me. And so I've been doing Uber Eats to make ends meet. And I can barely do that. I mean, I'm dipping into my savings like hardcore. So I will, and that's the thing too. Like I keep telling myself, well, when you get a job, you'll be able to, go out and be social more than you were before. You'll be able to like actually try to ask people to go out to dinner, because I can't do that now. I'm not asking people to go out to dinner. I'm not asking people to get drinks. I'm not saying yes to drinks as much because I can't afford it. I mean, I probably could, but and I pick and choose very wisely. So I mean, I went to a friend's show and she gave me her comp ticket, so wouldn't be. I mean, I would have had to dip into savings for that, and I had budgeted for it. So I'm so beyond grateful that she gave me her comp ticket. Oh my God, that was like such a nice surprise. There is kindness in the world, I am seeing. It's a sliver. Unfortunately, it's not the majority of people. But anyway, so I'm just really confused about that. And yeah, I would love to open a conversation if you guys want to like message me or something, because I don't really get it. I just don't get it. So it's been 2 months now that I've been unemployed, and so people have been kind, sending me things and messaging me. Katherine, you have been sending me wonderful things, and I don't know what's going to happen to that coffee shop job that I applied for, or the the wine auction job, which hopefully something happens with that. They had just started their interview process, so I don't know, how long they're going to take. There was one job that said they were going to take until the end of the month, which means like I interviewed almost 2 weeks ago, but it hasn't been a full 2 weeks, so I'm still giving them time. I didn't get the front desk job at a hotel when I have experience with like customer service. Maybe not hospitality. Maybe there's some people that know how to do hospitality more than me. Like the hotel business is a very like specific niche industry, so maybe it's that. I don't know. I just couldn't tell you. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then on top of that, I'm really trying to keep, up with the podcast and the videos on social media, because, that's my dream, is to get a job being paid for what I am really good at, which is the podcast, talking to people. I'm auditioning all the time. I want to do some more commercials, and I really, I switched agents, earlier this year. Actually, it might have been earlier last month that I signed with them. And they've been great. I've been getting a lot of auditions. I've been doing my first like TV film audition in a while. It was for this show that's on Paramount Plus, which once like shoot dates pass, I'll tell you. I mean, they didn't make me sign an NDA to audition or anything like that, but just want to keep that privacy available to them. But whatever. Anyway, and that audition went well. That was cute. And I think, I would love to do a TV show. That would be amazing. That's why I switched agents, honestly, because I felt like I wasn't able to get TV film auditions. So, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm grateful for. And plus, like the theater shows that I've auditioned for as well are mostly self-tapes. And they just require so much of your energy and so much work. So, sometimes you really need to prepare for like a day or two. I mean, if you know your songs that you have in your book, like obviously you can schedule for that. But there are some times, and I haven't done this recently because I feel like I've done it so much in the past that I've kind of learned what I can take from, and do it myself. But, I used to hire pianists, like musical theater pianists, and go over my audition with them. And because if you don't do that, you don't know all the time if you can't read, or I can read music, but I'm not a pianist. I'm not a musical theater pianist, so I don't always know what's in the score, and I don't always know how it's written. And if you're getting something online, like sheet music online, I was finding that the melody was in the score in a lot of, and this might be a lot of like musical lingo, whatever, but I was finding that the melody was in the score, so I was singing what they were playing, and like that was no good, because the auditioners don't want to hear the piano like play the karaoke track essentially along with you. So it's just all these little things, and I even got like sheet protectors that are not shiny on the lights for the accompanist, because sometimes the glare of the sheet protector is it's too much for them. They can't always see everything. You have to make sure everything's very heavily labeled. I'm just saying, I know musical theater people get this, but I'm just saying, like, those auditions they require a lot of work, and a lot of work that people don't understand that goes into them, because they might be only seeing, 2-something minutes of your audition, but you have put in weeks, maybe more, into that. And money. Like, I paid these people to play this music for me because, I didn't know anyone at the time that was a musical theater accompanist. That could do it for me. And even if I did know them, I'd want to pay them like for their time. And then sometimes I'm asking for tracks. I'm asking them to record a track so that I can do a self-tape and not have to find most of the time I can find something online. Like nowadays with YouTube, it's such a lifesaver. But there are times when I want a specific cut of a song and that's not findable online, searchable. So I would much rather have like pay a pianist to do it for me rather than like cutting and chopping. And I have cut and chopped a lot of stuff, and that's just not musical theater auditions. That's auditions like for a lot of stuff. Like if I'm doing like a pop show or something that requires music, I've cut a lot. I've used GarageBand and Logic to just chop up different accompaniment tracks so that I can make sure that I am, showcasing the best part of the song. So all that to say, there's a lot that goes into it. Oh my gosh. And when I auditioned for Dollywood, I spent so long trying, doing the dance call, and that was intense. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun. And I'm so glad that it was self-taped so I could do it a bunch of times and learn it. And even then though, I'm not like, I was not a trained dancer. So, I can hold a rhythm, you've seen me at a party, but I can't, I'm not like super fast at learning choreography. So, but it was great. It was fun. So trying to keep on top of all of that whilst job applying is really intense. And so that's something I'm really going through. And then with Uber Eats, oh my gosh, I have something to share about Uber Eats and DoorDash. Number one, fuck DoorDash. No, can't do it. Sorry. DoorDash, if you're listening, your customer service sucks. And I know you probably get lots of complaints. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of people, not only drivers, but a lot of people to serve. But I don't like you. And I'm just kidding. I don't know who runs DoorDash, okay? But the pay is awful, and the customer service is not great for drivers. But Uber Eats is really good. They actually tip. They like kind of pay you. It's still shit pay. I mean, you're like, especially if you have a car that takes gas, like, you're not getting paid enough for gas, really. You do have to factor in like 30% of whatever you get paid is going to go towards gas. That's just what it is. But I find that Uber Eats is customer service. They just kind of know what they're doing. They also have a sexual assault training. Sorry, I should have said trigger warning. So sorry. They also have like videos that you have to watch. You have to scan your face before you drive so that it's you that's, delivering. But here's a couple things that you might not have known about Uber Eats. In addition to that, Uber Eats is that nowadays with these delivery things, it's not just food that you're doing. So the amount of times that I've parked in the mall and had to walk like a bajillion steps to get to the other side of the mall to get to the store that they are ordering from, that's a thing. And sometimes they're not ready. Sometimes, they don't have a ton of people working in the store, so you have to wait for that thing to be ready, and that's totally fine. Get it? Totally. As long as, and that's where I think people don't understand, like when they're thinking about the tip, they're like, well, this costs so much in general just to get this thing, like just the base fare kind of thing. So surely some of that money is going to the drivers. Sure, some of it is. Maybe $2. $2. I repeat, $2 sometimes. If you're driving longer, you get paid longer, things like that. But it's no longer acceptable to tip $0 because you think that it costs so much money, so some of it must be going to the drivers, because it's not. It's just not. That's capitalism. And I'm sorry, but that's just where we are. I'd love to live in a culture that doesn't have tips, that just, pays everybody a fair wage and we just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I would love that. But that's not the world that we live in. That's not reality. So tipping is unfortunately the culture that we have created. And I will say, like, I know what you're thinking. A lot of times people are like, well, I could do that. So like, why would I tip them? Go do it then. Do it. Go outside of your house and go park in the mall and go get your MAC cosmetics that you've ordered. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, go do it yourself then. If you're going to a restaurant and you're like, I could have made that at home. Go make it at home. I could have cut my own hair, or they didn't really do that much. Go do it at home. Like, I hate that that's the world that we live in. Again, I would love for people to just make minimum wage, or not minimum wage because minimum wage sucks. I would love for people to make a livable wage, and then we can just all live our happy lives and not have to worry about the service. But that's not the case. Obviously, if you are if you're getting awful service, people are mean and rude to you, okay, I guess that's a separate situation. But even then, I mean, that whole thing of like, if you hate your job so much, then don't work here. I don't think that's acceptable anymore. I personally don't believe that to be true. They actually can't quit their job anymore. That you used to be able to like quit and then go find another one and whatever. That's not how that goes. Obviously, I'm not saying people are allowed to be rude or mean or terrible or like shitty to you. I'm not saying that. I am just saying that like there is no such thing as if you hate working here, don't work here, because there's no grace anymore. There's no like leeway for you to go find another job, go be happier at a job. Like it's just not for me. I mean, again, I'm speaking from experience. So maybe you guys have had different experiences. I don't know. But yeah, I've just been thinking so much about the way that our world is working right now, and it just doesn't compute. So again, I'm not saying you can be shitty to people, whatever. Okay. Just make sure that's clear. But anyway, oh yeah, and I will say, oh my gosh, I have like, and I do have funny stories, I'll say. It's just like, and not funny, like, oh my God, that's so crazy that happened. It's more of like, observational. So like, for example, yesterday I got a PF Chang's order and I went all the way up into like, it was like in the holler. It was like near where, I don't know if you guys in Tennessee, if you, for those of you who go tubing, like water or rafting or kayaking or whatever on the Harpeth River, it was like over there in Pegram, Tennessee. And I think I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry. But anyway, it was like, and I am from the country. Thank God I'm from the country because I knew that this was normal. And I knew that these streets is like people live there. People were like, live in whatever, work there, whatever. But the part that I am not from the country up in like the mountains, this was like literally she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was dangerous too. And I'm not saying dangerous like crime. Maybe that happens. I don't know. I'm saying dangerous. Like if you go 1 to 2 inches off the road, like you're fucking done for. Okay. You're in the mountain. You're like flipping over sideways in your car. Okay. And I'm not saying that as a joke. That is legitimate. You have to be careful. And then I was thinking, I was doing it during the daytime, but I was thinking, I was like, do these people leave at night? Because at night, like with the windy roads and all these things, like at night, no. I wouldn't be able to see there. I'm sure there's been accidents, or maybe people just get used to it and just go really, really slow. But even during the daytime, people were going fast. Okay. So like, it's crazy. And and those windy roads last for a very long time. It's not just, there's a couple miles of it. No, it's like 8 miles of just 8 mile. Eminem was not there, but it's like a long time. Okay. That those windy roads are happening. And I'm just like, because it was like 15 minutes to get to like the main road kind of thing. And I was like, okay, 15 minutes ain't that bad. But like, I'm sure some of that will be on the main road. No. 14 minutes were on those windy roads and 1 minute was to the actual like main road. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. So you can get Uber Eats wherever you so choose nowadays. I am just informing you. Okay. That lady was super sweet though. Super nice and tipped me well. So thank you so much to that lady. Okay. But I am just like, these are all the things that you don't know when you're ordering food. You think they're just picking it up, having a grand old time. They have to sit in traffic. They also, which like, that's normal. That's part of the job. But like, it's also like parking at some of these places is insane. And I know some like drivers are probably cool, like double parking and being behind someone. But like sometimes you go in and you think, oh, it's ready. I can just park here, double park somewhere and come out and back to my car. Sometimes the order's not ready, and sometimes the people will be taking a while because they're busy and they're understaffed and overworked and whatever. So you might be there for a little bit, and it's probably not going to be longer than 10, 15 minutes, but that's still a long time to be double parked in a busy area where you could be towed or ticketed or whatever. So just, it's a lot more work than people think that it is. And again, thank God I don't go at night, but yeah. And I've delivered to gated areas as well, not like gated creepy areas and gated industrial kind of complexes. And then gated, like these people are fancy kind of gated, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's a thing. And then, yeah, so that's Uber Eats. Okay, the second thing, or third, and a couple other things I want to talk to you about is number one, I just lately this, and again, no one asked me this, so it kind of feels weird because it's a total bait and switch or like change the subject, but I don't feel like I need the male energy anymore. I'm in this point, and well, anymore is probably a strong word. At this point in my life, in this chapter of my life, I am so not needing it. Maybe I haven't found the correct male energy, and this is what I'm saying though, is that it's not just romantic male energy that I don't need. I don't really need the male friendship energy. And maybe that's because I'm jaded from all the people in my life or whatever, but I think it's also because I look at my women friends and the female energy, and it's just like unmatched. It's so beautiful. It's so welcoming. It's so like a relief. It's a sigh of like, oh, I don't have to be anything other than me. And I have that mostly with males, or men, I guess. Sorry, males. It makes it sound like I'm talking about like insects or like animals, which I guess we all are to some degree. But anyway, yeah, I feel so much more comfortable around my group of lady friends, and I don't find myself missing, like, I need some like male energy. I need some masculine energy. I need some like dude friends. I like all my dude friends. Please don't get me wrong. But I'm finding that my women friends are just fulfilling me in a way that, leaves me not wanting. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of times with some of my, I don't know, I guess men relationships, I feel, again, in this chapter of my life, I just feel like unfulfilled. And, that's not something that I would necessarily post on Facebook or Instagram or maybe whatever. But I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. So that's one of, like, a good thing about saying it. But yeah, I just like my lady friends. And that's all I need to say. Okay. The second thing, second to last thing, Find My iPhone. Oh my gosh, Katherine, you know this for sure, but Find My iPhone is freaking hilarious to me because I will find myself using it almost like an Instagram or like checking my email and TikTok and stuff. I feel like I need to like set a boundary on it. I need to stop checking it. I really only check it for my mom mostly, and I have to like click on her name because she's so far away from the circle of Nashville. So I'll click on her name because sometimes I know she's like at my uncle's or she's somewhere where I don't want to call her or something. So I just want to make sure that she's home, kind of thing, which has been hilarious. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and I really, it is kind of addicting because, Sierra sent that one thing that said, you're following around your friends on the Find My iPhone app like little Sims. And I think it's so cute. And sometimes it's really nice. Sometimes it's like, okay, wait, where is she? If she didn't text me back or something. But I don't really do it like that. Sometimes it's just fun to see where people are. And I wonder if people do that with me too, the people that are sharing the location. But I think I need to turn it off. Because then sometimes it's like Instagram though, where if I see that people are somewhere else, I'm like, oh God, I should be doing something with my life. I shouldn't be sitting at home. They're out doing stuff. And I'm just like, bitch, stop it. You've been driving Uber Eats. You've been like working really hard. You're home because you're applying to jobs. Like, come on, get it together. So yeah, that comparison is, again, it's become a social media, like affirmation, which is not good. Okay. So I'm going to try to stop doing that. And then the other thing is that I wanted to go over the books that I'm reading. And Katherine, I do want to hear about your ACOTAR moments because that sounds great. First of all, okay. What was I going to say? I just finished Sea of Tranquility. Such a great book. I need to read Station 11 if anyone's familiar. It's the same author, but basically it's about like moon colonies and, like the future. There's a little bit of time travel in there. Well, there's a lot of time travel. The whole thing is a time travel. Like, that's not a spoiler. But it's like, it's not like, I don't know. I don't think it's like, what's the thing? Outlander or like The Time Traveler's Wife. I don't really think of it like that. It's more like sci-fi type vibes where it's like futuristic and like what our future's going to be. There's a lot of meta things, like there's plagues and stuff like that, pandemics, stuff like that, whatever. But anyway, and like basically life in a simulation and what that might look like. And so, yeah, it's such a good book. I definitely recommend. And then what else was I going to say? Oh, I'm reading this one called, I think it's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And it's a love story. At least that's what it says. I just started it, and it's about like, these two, game designers, like video game designers. And, it's so interesting. I've had to look up like a word every single page because she has a huge vocabulary, and I was like, what the F are these words? So I'll have to share some words that I learned because that is so funny to me. But yeah, so I've got that, and then I'm waiting on the third Mistborn, which is, I believe, is the final book in the trilogy. And it's so good. For those of you who are not familiar with Mistborn, you've heard me talk about it on Instagram probably, but it is a fantasy novel, but it's not fae, and it's not like witchy. It's like they use metals to have different powers, and yeah, it's so different. And I will say it's very wordy in the sense where like a lot of it is backstory, a lot of it is like paragraphs on what each character is feeling rather than like actionable devices to be like, okay, we're moving the plot forward kind of thing. But I really love it. The first book for sure was like the last 50 pages were like kind of SJM vibes where you're like, wait, what? What the heck happened? How? When? And then the second book was even better, and brought in some new characters and like how they kind of are learning from each other. And then also there's different metals that get into the mix, and like, I don't know. I not a spoiler, but there are some like similarities. Mistborn was written in 2008, and SJM, I believe, after that. I can't remember exact date, but there are some, for those of you who have read SJM, very Cauldron vibes. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. If you get it, you get it. Yeah. Anyways, okay, well, that's pretty much all I'm going to say. I'm going to go do some Uber Eats today. And yeah, if you do Uber Eats, then tip me. But yeah, and if you do Uber Eats, tip your driver. If you do Uber, tip your driver. If you do Lyft, tip your driver. If you do DoorDash, tip over $6 because they're probably only getting $2. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Let me know if there's anything else that you'd like me to talk about or expand on, because I really appreciate all of your time. Don't forget to rate and review if you haven't already. And Katherine, I just thank you so much for everything that you have done for me. And I thank you for sending all of the amazing, job searches. Also, Katherine, since you're probably the only one listening right now, actually, I need to double check on that. But if other people are listening, they should hear this too. Remember that time at Christmas that you said to me, like things that you really liked about me, like attributes and stuff, how I was like posting on Instagram a lot. And, you just said really wonderful, kind things about me. And I was like, well, I'm going to tell you things that I like about you. I think we were talking about dating, and we were like, you said like anyone that has you will be so lucky to have you, and all these things. You said such wonderful things, and I was like, I'm going to say things I like about you. And you were like, no, I'm not saying it so that you'll say it back to me. And you kind of like stopped me, but I really would like to say something. So now that I have the microphone, I'm going to say it, bitch. Okay? Okay. Number one, I'm so proud of you for your house. I'm so proud of you for being such a badass boss bitch, and like, yeah, that house looks so beautiful, and I'm just like really so happy for you and proud of you that you have a space to call your own. That couch is really lovely. You did a great job hosting the party. I mean, the cupcakes and all of the food that you did. I know that you said you didn't make it all, but I don't care. Who even cares? Who makes it all? Come on. The way that you like set it up and put it on those little like trays and stuff, and like the little cake tins and stuff like that was just like so beautiful. And those koozies and the cups and stuff and the pictures that you had with like us in there. I mean, it was just like so kind and so lovely and thoughtful. And this is what I'm saying when I say that the female energy is all I really need right now. I feel like unfulfilled. A man would not do that, okay? Or maybe they would. I just haven't experienced it yet, okay? But, and again, I'm not talking about romantical. I'm just talking about like male friendship does not hit that level, okay? And Anyway, so I just think that you're really beautiful, and I mean out on the outside too. I hope that you know that. Do we talk about that ever? I feel like you're like really beautiful, okay? And your fashion is also really cool. I like all of your dresses and everything you wear. I'm like, this bitch like puts herself together. And even when you don't put yourself together, you have like this cute little sweatshirt. Am I hitting on you now? I'm just kidding. I'm not. But I just want you to know, because I know we're not supposed to talk about like people's appearance and stuff like that, but I really want to make it clear that you are very beautiful. And any man would be so lucky to be in your bed. Let me just say that. Okay. I feel like I'm heckling someone at a concert, but in a good way. Anyways, and I also really love your energy of like speaking your mind so truthfully, and you just like are who you are. And I hate this word of like unapologetic, but I feel like you're also really working on yourself too. And I always see you like trying to improve yourself, and you're charitable. You're like doing volunteer work, and you just like are such a well-rounded human being, and you just like care about people in general. And like, but I feel like you have a better balance on it than I do, of like, you can like talk to people and speak your mind so clearly, instead of like saying, oh, why? And then you ask a lot of like questions too. Oh my gosh, I love a question asker. I just love that you want to know people. You want to like understand what they're saying, why they're saying it, and it's just beautiful to me. And I'm sure some people, I can say this just in my experience, some people get annoyed with me because I ask a lot of questions, but I will never be annoyed by that. And so I just love it, and I love you, and I thank you for supporting me. That's another thing, your support for everyone around you, your support for Southern Call, for me, for Molly, for like literally every person ever. And like, you're such a good planner. You're organized. You're always like ready to step in wherever you can. So anyways, sorry if that made you feel like, oh my God, but I could go on for days. So I'll stop myself. But yeah. Female energy. Okay. Love you guys so much. Let me know what else you want to talk about, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Bye. And to those of you who are trying to find a job right now, listen. I said listen, and I have no words. You got this. Something will happen. It will. It's just, I don't know when. And I don't know how. But we're going to get through. Okay. Bye.